Hi everyone, I'm April, and you're watching The Tangled Cat Speaks, and this is a book edition. So, not a lot, like literally not a lot going on here. This is going to be quite a short one because I've only got 4 books to talk about. I was doing a whole lot of knitting, catching up on some projects that had been lingering for several years, and some Christmas gifts. And I did get a couple of audiobooks in during that time, but I was also getting caught up on some of my TV streaming series that I've been into. I've been watching Stranger on Netflix. It's a K drama, like a police detective type of story. Really interesting. I'm enjoying that one. I'm on the middle of the second season. I think there's only 2 seasons so far, but I'm in the middle of the second season on that. And then I've also been watching The English on Prime, and I'm about halfway through that season too. I think there's only one. Really enjoying that one too. So I've been a little distracted, haven't gotten through as many books as usual. So let's go ahead and start with the one physical book that I have. And sadly, this one is one that I did not actually totally finish. I didn't enjoy it. Now, Ursula K. Le Guin, I did, what was the other book that I did recently? I'm sorry, I'm going to go through my notes here. The Lathe of Heaven. I really enjoyed The Lathe of Heaven. And I still have copies of the Cat Wings books from when my kids were little because I really enjoyed those. But I did not enjoy, that's it. I did not really enjoy The Dispossessed. I got about 60% through it, about 2/3 of the way. I just found it so dry and my mind kept wandering and I just couldn't. I didn't care about the main character. I didn't care about the situation. It just was not for me. Now, I understand that this is a highly acclaimed book, and a lot of people really enjoy it, especially because it does have a lot of political and socio and economical commentary, I guess. It's what it is. It's about people who have inhabited a moon that surrounds their main planet, or that orbits their main planet. So the moon is called Anaris, and the main planet is called Eurus. Now, the people on Eurus, there's a lot of warring between nations. You've got very, very wealthy and very, very impoverished, and all the things that come with that. And then on Anaris, which is the orbiting moon, the people there have kind of a more of a wild, free way of living, a more of a, I guess would be like a utopian society. And there's this one guy that comes from Anaris and goes to visit Eurus and is trying to learn what's, the political societal situation going on there, and maybe trying to bring some of his ideas with him. That sounds very interesting to me, but the writing itself just felt so dry and so not to my liking. Like I said, I'm not saying this is a bad book. I'm saying it's not my cup of tea. So I didn't finish it. I did mark this as a DNF in my notes. But I am going to try more of her stuff. I really want to read Earthsea at some point, which is more of a fantasy. But I think sooner. Who taught me how to speak? I think in December we're reading a bunch of people off of Mike's book reviews on his Discord are going to be reading The Left Hand of Darkness, which is also a sci-fi, and I believe it's part of a series set kind of in the same world, but it's very huge time jump, so there's not going to be any kind of intermingling of situations and characters, is what I understand. So I'll try again with her sci-fi as far as The Left Hand of Darkness. We'll see how that goes next month. But the one that I'm really wanting to get into at some point is Earthsea. So we'll see. I'm going to keep giving her a try. Just because I didn't like one book doesn't mean, that just could be the one off that didn't click for me. So let's get into audiobooks. I did Call of the Wild. I'm lying. That's an ebook that I read because I had all three of them. I had Seawolf. I'm blanking. Call of the Wild, and what is the other one I read it the last month? I don't remember. It'll pop into my head in a little bit. But anyway, I did Call of the Wild. That was the third in that little collection in the ebook. And this one follows the point of view of a dog that he goes from owner to owner to owner, and he's a sled dog. He's a different, he's not treated very well out there in the Alaskan Klondike. I believe there is a movie that recently came out with Harrison Ford, and I think when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, Harrison Ford, I'll watch that. But now that I read the book, and it was just so sad. I mean, they treat this dog and the other dogs that's the way of things, the way that they did things back then. And I don't know if they still do, but back when this was written, that's how things were. And I was sad. It was a very sad book to me. And I won't read it again. And I don't know that I want to watch the movie. But who knows? So that was the Call of the Wild. I'm still trying to figure out what the other one was. White Fang. That was the other one, White Fang. I didn't really care for White Fang quite as much. But Call of the Wild was very sad to me. But I'm all done with that. So that was an ebook. Did I have another ebook this time? I have because I have two, one big one that I'm working on. Let's see. So the audiobook that I meant to talk about was When the Sleeper Wakes. And this is an H.G. Wells book. I had never heard of it. This is one of the books from the Rogers Cheap Old Book Club from Michael K. Vaughan on his channel. And this is the Rogers Cheap Old Book Club is basically, he picked books that could be found on the public domain. So you can read them for free if you look hard enough, you can find them usually on Project Gutenberg. So this was When the Sleeper Wakes. I found it on audio through my library, so that's the way I did that one. And I found this one to be quite interesting. It was also a sci-fi, and this one revolved around a man who wakes up, doesn't know where he is, doesn't know how he got to where he is, doesn't know what happened. And there's a lot of kind of people are talking around his questions but not really telling him, and then finally finally someone comes in and says, well, hey, sorry to let you know, but you had an accident, you went into sort of a coma, but you've been asleep for a very long time. How long? Over 200 years. On top of that, that was startling enough for him. But on top of that, it turns out that some investments that he had made as a young man grew, and this whole 200 plus years that he's been asleep, somebody has been sort of like a steward of all his money and his investments, and it turns out that he basically owns everything. The whole, I think they're in England, if I remember correctly. But he basically owns everything, like the world. They kept calling him sire, and he didn't understand why they kept saying that, but now he knows because he owns everything. So now the rest of the story is basically him trying to navigate this new reality and, all of that, all of what that entails. So a very interesting book. And so far, I have liked the 4 or 5 books that I have read by H.G. Wells. Been very, very pleased with his writing. Let's see. so it was When the Sleeper Wakes. I did one, and I can't remember what it's called, like a prehistoric caveman, stories of prehistory or something like that. Basically about a caveman who's trying to become a little more separate from his clan. Anyway, that one I really enjoyed. Time Machine, War of the Worlds. Really have enjoyed everything that I've read by H.G. Wells. So maybe I'll read a little something else sometime in the future. And then what else do I have here on my list? The last book, which is an ebook. This is a mystery. It's an Agatha Christie story called Endless Nights. Now, I had never read this one because it's not Miss Marple and it's not Hercule Poirot. It's not one of the ones that are like part of a series. It's a standalone. And it doesn't involve any of her major or frequently used detectives. This one follows a single guy. He's not a detective, but he meets a girl. No, let's backtrack. He finds this piece of land. He finds it very enchanting, and he dreams of building a home there. And right around the time that he finds this land, he sees this woman, and he falls instantly in love with her. He woos her. They get together, and then they start getting their house built, and then she dies. And there's questions on her death, about her death, and the people that surround her and everything. And he's just trying to piece everything together. This one was very, very interesting to me. It kind of reads at first kind of like a regular Agatha Christie story, but just without a major detective involved. And then all of a sudden there's this little twist about 3/4 of the way in. What the heck just happened? It was really good. I had a really good time with it, and I was just very pleased. Like I said, it's one of the Agatha Christie's, one of the few that I haven't read of hers, and I don't think there's several of her standalones that I don't think that I've read. So I'm going to look into more of those because I had a really, really good time with that one. And that is literally all that I have finished in the past couple of weeks. Now, what have I been working on? Well, this is the blade itself that I said I was going to start at the beginning of the month, which I did, and it's a chunker. And I've only done this much. Like I said, my time has been kind of scattered with my knitting, but I've been reading that, so that's about a quarter of the way, maybe a third. And then I've also been reading War Master's Gate since the beginning of the month. Just both of those, just a couple of chapters here and there. As I have time. I'm about halfway done through War Master's Gate, which is the 9th book in the Shadows of the App series by Adrian Tchaikovsky. And oh my goodness, there's only one book left, and it is so exciting. I'm having so much fun with that one. So I need to really, really get back to it. As a matter of fact, I think after I'm done here, I'm going to go to the gym and jump on the treadmill and read one of these. So that's all I've got for you right now. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me, and let me know what you're reading. Do you have any plans for November, December? Are you a seasonal reader? Let me know. Have a good day. Bye.